And bouncing off of sustainability, so you have three initiatives. Treewear has a zero waste initiative. It has an initiative to plant trees when you buy a tea, and then responsible manufacturing. So could you expand more about explain those three aspects more and go into some details?
Sure. So we can start with the zero
Zero
waste
waste.
aspect. Basically, what we've tried to do in all our products, or at least when we're sitting down to think about the product, we really go into the details of not only the product itself. So we even, like for example, the stuff we source from our vendors and stuff. If it comes in a, like say in a plastic packaging or whatever, we make sure that the packaging is properly recycled. We try to tell them, if we can change it into something that's maybe like a reusable system or something where we can try to minimize the use of plastic.
Right.
And then within the products themselves, the way that we package, the ethos behind the reuse of the products. Or, for example, the T-shirt. So these are old plastic bottles that we've
Right.
taken from like restaurants and offices and stuff,
Perfect.
where
Perfect.
they literally get used once and then they're of no use to those people anymore. But we kind of wanted to show people that plastic bottles aren't just a single-use item. It
Right.
can be reused in interesting ways, as long as some thought is put into that.
Yeah.
And the same with the deodorants being completely compostable. You just have to kind of remove one little thing from it.
Yeah.
So it's completely made of paperboard, and there's maybe one small inner lining, and that's it. You take out the inner lining and you can chuck this in your compost bin,
Right.
and it'll be gone in like a few months.
Right.
Yeah, so it's about things like that, the zero waste initiative, and the buy one get one free. I'll let Mishal get into
Yeah,
the
sure.
details of
So,
that.
just jumping off from that point, we try to use the least amount of plastic possible in all of our processes. We see that as a big step forward because the dependency on plastic these days is a little bit unhealthy. So, as a business, we're trying to found, the basis of it on trying to be as far away from plastic as possible. And wherever we do use it, we try to make sure that it's properly recycled and goes to the right place. What we do for planting trees for our t-shirts, which is the organic cotton t-shirts that we actually supply. We started off with this idea because we realized that being in an urban setting, and especially a place like Mumbai, there's very little you can do to have a positive impact on the environment. Mostly what it involves is reducing your negative impact. If you decide that you're not going to use the plastic straw that you mentioned, that still means that you've just not had that happen. Everywhere else that this activity is going rampant and people don't know about not using plastic straws, they're still happening. But you're not doing anything to stop that from happening or reduce that problem itself.
Right.
So what we actually felt was, firstly, trees are a pretty good symbol to represent nature. It's got a lot of the very innate, it's tied in very strongly to the idea of nature in everyone's mind. So we felt like it's good to propagate that. And by planting a tree, the concept was to be able to give a person in an urban setting the ability to have somewhat of a positive difference. On the environment. And at the same time also really easily associate the idea of what we are trying to do as a brand. I think that the tree fits in well to that. So we started off with the concept of let's appeal to people's sentiments here. Let's see if people really feel like it's that time when they need to make a change in their habits and stuff. So let's offer a tree with each t-shirt. And we started off with the t-shirts. I had some design background, so I thought let's make a couple of prints. And Mickey's also very involved in the whole process of manufacturing and the specifications for the cloth and the cuts and stuff like that. So basically what we decided is that we offer this up to people as a concept and see how they feel about it. So that's what we did. We started selling our t-shirts, and for each one we plant a tree. Perfect. Soon after that we actually moved into personal care products. So that's the deodorants, the range of deodorants and the sanitizers. And the reason we switched is because we saw a need for this in the market. In our daily lives, we were looking for an alternative to these products, and we couldn't find anything that was made in India or from India or local even in any way whatsoever. So most of the solutions that we find today for this kind of stuff is basically available in Europe or in America.
Right.
So there's not much happening in India in terms of that. And we felt like it was high time that we could kind of try to innovate a little bit and do something along those lines. So for us, the ability to be creative and innovate what we were doing was also a big thing. So moving on from apparel, we decided that we'd look into personal care and come up with solutions that are based completely on natural ingredients. We saw so much merit in that.
Yeah.
And we just felt like we'd like to also, with these work towards contributing towards trees as well. So because it's a slightly small ticket item, we divide the cost of one tree across 4 products.
Okay.
But it still means that each purchase made is contributing somewhat towards planting a tree. And all of this goes to the point where it's trackable. We GPS tag all the trees, so you can actually visit your tree if you're inclined to do so.
Wow.
And there's unique codes and stuff as well. So if someone buys a t-shirt from us or buys 4 or more products from us, we'll actually send them a code where they can access through our website, a portal, and find where the tree is. And go and visit the plantation and see what's happening.
Wow.
Yep.
So basically, if I buy one product and then 3 other people buy 3 different products, then that's a total of 4 products. So that's a tree.
That's a tree. Exactly. That's how we split it up.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So each one contributes towards the tree. We've just tried to make it, viable as an option. We didn't want to remove it completely. I think at a certain point in time, that was still an option for us because we were taking so many other, stands toward trying to be more environmentally friendly. But we've always maintained that it's actually one of the things that kind of keeps us what we are. The name of the brand is Treewear. So there have to be trees planted first. So we made sure that no matter what, every product contributes towards planting a tree.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then the last point that you mentioned was basically making all of our products responsibly. So that involves a fair bit of research on Mikhail's part. He's spent a lot of time understanding how different materials work, how they should come together, what permissible levels of essential oils are in products. All of that kind of stuff is it takes a lot of time and effort to like sift through different sources and really take the time to test out each product over time. And I think that's where we basically don't compromise on what we're doing. If we feel like something is not 100% ready to be out there, it hasn't been vetted by everyone in our inner circle whom we supply our products to a round earlier than they actually come out. We take that feedback very seriously and in a detailed way so that we can keep improving our product and make sure that when we're finally getting something out there that it's been tried and tested for an extended period of time.
Got it.
So the way that it's made also is that right now we're a fairly small company, so we're very involved in the manufacturing process ourselves. So it's all been vetted and pretty much overseen by both of us till now, and we hope to keep that as a big part of what we do. We want to progress as a company that promotes a cottage scale industry kind of a thing, rather than being in an industrial compound with a lot of heavy machinery and stuff like that. We see the merit in trying to support people who could use that support, rather than working towards just large scale manufacturing machinery. So that's what we mean by responsible manufacturing. We're considering it from a slightly different thing. We're not really looking to scale up immediately and become a huge company overnight. We see the merit in what we're doing. A lot of people have given us a lot of positive feedback about what we're doing, but our aim is to grow in a very organic manner.
Nice.
So it's not about rushing it and trying to over expand. We're just trying to do it in a way that's a little bit more thoughtful. No effluence, so we're not really putting anything out there that's harming the environment. All of our materials are natural, hence whatever even is the byproduct, which isn't much. It's pretty much just water with certain mixtures of essential oils at times or other kinds of oils, and otherwise just like edible ingredients like arrowroot powder or like beeswax and stuff like that. So when we're actually even kind of cleaning our vessels and whatever we use our equipment and stuff like that, whatever water and discharges that, it's actually used in watering plants anyways, and it's completely safe for that. So rather than having again like a typical factory setup where you've got a lot of these extra byproducts that are coming out and not really useful and negative towards the environment, we're just trying to approach it in a different way where we're either reducing that amount or not having any of it at all.
That's so cool, so cool. So coming back to the trees, how do you choose the location of where the tree is planted, and who does that?
You want to take that one?
Yeah, so basically we work with an agency called Grow Trees on the product side of things, because it enables us to have a fixed cost per tree, so that makes it a bit manageable as far as like the business things are concerned. So we kind of approached them and we told them we'll support X and Y projects of yours, and basically we kind of just purchase the trees up front, and then as we sell them, we are putting them in people's names. So people are adopting the trees that that we're planting. So normally this happens. The reason that it's like this is because it happens during one time in the year around the monsoons. Because that's actually the best time to plant, and they also do a couple of things that are advantageous and that we thought were worthwhile. One being that they geo-tag all the trees, so you get a unique tree code for each tree, as Mishale touched on earlier. And the second thing that they do is they actually maintain the trees for 3 years after planting them. So that is to ensure the survivability of each of the trees, and they actually account for attrition by planting an extra 15 to 20% trees, so that if in case something does happen, they do have a backup tree. And so that is those were the few things, which is how we decided. And they had a couple of projects, so we decided to do one that was more towards like rural livelihood, and another that's more based on biodiversity type issues. So we thought we'd kind of think about which one we'd like to go with, and we thought we might as well just do both, because they're both kind of worthwhile.
Awesome. Brilliant. So through your business, you're supporting rural livelihoods, you're planting trees, possibly increasing biodiversity because it's creating habitats.
Absolutely.
And making sure the ingredients are sourced responsibly and are natural. It's amazing. Thank you so much again for watching this video. All the relevant links are attached below in the description, so please check them out. I hope you gained something, and I'm so glad that a company like Treewear is reducing waste and planting trees at the same time. I mean, how awesome is that? So if you're interested in starting your own business, Treewear is a perfect example of how a business can be sustainable. I'm not getting paid any commission by them. This is just an interview done to raise awareness of how a business can influence positive change. If you want to watch the rest of this interview, we'll continue right where we left off, and you can watch those parts here. I really hope you learned something and you like the content, so please share and tap that subscribe button below. Thank you so much again.